What's happening, everyone? Welcome to GBALL Vision. I hope you are doing fantastic today. We are going to be covering EDC today. EDC what? Well, we're going to be covering why should you get into EDC? What should you carry in your EDC? What does EDC really mean? What items do I carry in my EDC? We're going to be covering the whole gambit. And if you're not familiar with what EDC stands for, it stands for everyday carry. So the items that you would carry on you on a daily, routine, everyday basis. So for the normal, average person, their EDC might look like a cell phone, a wallet, and their car keys. Okay, that makes sense, right? Well, there should be some other items that you include on your persons and in your vehicle as well for everyday life altering circumstances, right? Just things that you might run into that are just unexpected. So, first and foremost, and what EDC is solely based around, the center figure for EDC is going to be a pocket knife. Now, a pocket knife can be used in so many different ways for so many things that it is a tool that must be had on your persons at all times. There is never any time or point in my life in the very recent past, and there will never be a time in my future, as long as I am breathing, will I go anywhere without some sort of folder, some sort of fixed blade. There's no question. I have at least two different folders in my truck that stay in my truck. I have two different fixed blades that stay in my truck. I have two multi-tools that stay in my truck. I also have some other things in my truck. I have a hatchet. I have a machete in there. Uh, Basically, because EDC stands for everyday carry, but it also stands for being prepared. That's what it comes down to. Things that you keep with you that can prepare you for the unforeseen events that you might run into on a daily basis. So, we covered the pocket knife. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's as old as mankind is. Knives have been around since mankind's existence. You know, back then they used a sharpened rock for cutting things. And now we are blessed to live in a day and age where we can get things like this that are going to cut forever. They're tougher than nails, comfortable, beautiful looking. The Spyderco Shaman is the perfect example of a folding pocket knife. Absolutely love this thing. A very recent gift to me from a good buddy of mine. But what are some other items that we should be keeping with us on a daily basis? Another of the center points for an EDC are going to include flashlights. Flashlights are obviously another given item. They provide you with light that you might not otherwise have had. And I don't want to hear, well, my phone comes with a flashlight. It's not the same thing. It's not even relatively close to the same thing. Not to mention, if you are in a situation where you need a flashlight, you're obviously most likely in a certain scenario. It could be life altering. It might not be, but it very well could be. And you might need that phone very soon, and wasting your battery life which when you're using that flashlight is going to deteriorate very quickly. When you're using your phone's flashlight, your battery life on that phone will deplete very quickly. There's no exception to that rule. Your phone is not, it's not a good insert for having a flashlight. At the very, very most, your phone's flashlight should be the very end all be all, the very last backup thing. You know, there's nothing else, and there's no chance that there's anything else but to use that phone's flashlight. Say this got smacked, your regular flashlight and your backup mini flashlight got smashed into a million pieces or whatever. That should be the only time that you're thinking of using your phone for a flashlight. Now, these are a little bit bigger options for an EDC, but they provide you with a lot of battery life. They provide you with a lot of power behind that light as well. Now, in front of you, I have now this is a Raylight LAN in titanium. This one, oh, I'm doing it wrong here, is a rechargeable. Okay. Now, these are awesome in their own right. A rechargeable is awesome. What I prefer, especially if we're talking about emergency or anything like that, this is also going to be a rechargeable. But what I prefer is something where I am going to have the capability of being able to put my own battery in there. If you want to if you don't have power, you're not going to be able to use that flashlight for very long. Uh, and the chances of you being in an emergency and having access to a power supply, unless you are very, very well prepared, you keep battery banks when you leave the house with you or in your vehicle, you're very self-sustaining. These are not going to benefit you for very long. That is why I prefer something with an external battery, a AAA, a AA, something like that. Now, this is a cheaper flashlight, but it has a lot of capability for being a $8-10 flashlight. It's got a very nice beam. It has an external AAA battery, has a pocket clip, has knurling and milling done on it for, grip. It's nice and small. It can be held in your hand very discreetly. It'll carry very thinly. These are a little bit thicker flashlights down here, which I EDC these all the time. Now, I'm also a nut job when it comes to EDC and preparedness. I have all the items that I think that I would need plus some. I keep a backpack in my truck filled with different supplies, different tools, different things like that stays in my truck. I also have a backpack that I take with me to work that's filled with other gear and tools. So it's very redundant. But if I were to ever find myself in a situation where I need some supplies and I need some tools, I'm going to have a nice setup, a nice variety of things that I can choose from and use when I need them. Now, I also keep some other various things in my truck, like a tarp and all kinds of different items based on preparedness and EDC, they are intertwined and interlocked together. And one thing that you can put in an EDC is also preparedness related. It's all intertwined. Now, you wouldn't go carrying around a tarp in your back pocket. You know, some people might carry like a fire starter with them depending on where they live. I understand that there are certain items that you wouldn't carry on your persons, but when you leave the house, there should be certain items in your vehicle, in a duffel bag, a backpack. Hell, I don't care if you put it in a trash bag and put it in the trunk of your car, but you must have some items with you. And if you're the type of person who kind of thinks, well, that's never happened to me and it's never gonna, I really don't know what planet you live on. Now, do you have to take it to this extent that I have? It would be smart to, but I don't know that you would have to take it that far. But I can't tell you how many times that I have thanked myself for being prepared, whether it was to help myself or to help someone else, that I had certain supplies. I keep an e-tool in my truck, which is an all steel trifold shovel that has gotten me out of a jam, that has gotten my fiance out of a jam. I keep a battery jumper kit in my truck. I've helped numerous friends out and people out by having that. It's also saved me once or twice. There's just things that you should have, and you're not going to have everything that you need. There's no way to prepare for any and every event possible, but the more things that you have, the more scenarios you can deal with on any given point. Now, that brings me to my next set of items that are kind of a must have. I believe that you should have a way to start a fire. Now, a lighter is going to be the end all be all when it comes to starting a fire, right? And a great backup would be a ferrocerium rod and a striker, and then there's other avenues like fire and or windproof, stormproof matches. Kind of having second and thirds to back up what you use primarily for that certain item. For me, I have a lighter with me. I keep a Bic with me typically, or some sort of de Jeep or something like that. And then I also have one of these in my truck, which is a Exotac fire sleeve that has a brand new Bic in it. They float. They're waterproof. They are stormproof, windproof. I have some fire tinder up here. I keep one of them in my truck. And then I also will kind of rotate certain items, but this is the Exotac Titan Light. This has held fluid in it for up to a year now. I have been keeping track of how long it will hold the fluid in here, and it's over a year. It's like a Zippo, but built like a tank and made to hold on to the fuel. Now, these are pricey, 50, $60, but they are well worth their weight in go. I mean, there's almost no comparison to the Exotac Titan Light. Even an insert is not going to, for your Zippos, is not going to compare to this. Now, my favorite stylish flashlight or lighter is a trench lighter, which is made by Douglas Field. This is the Field L, made in Japan. This one does not have fluid in it anymore, but exceptionally well done, very well built. These will also hold fuel for quite a while, but not anywhere close to what a Titan Light will. I love these things. I'm thinking about picking up another one to just strictly keep in my truck with my other fire sleeve. I have a couple of these. They are awesome and they're not that expensive. And I'm thinking about pairing it with this. I also keep stormproof matches in there in my truck, and I keep some backup lighters as well that are sealed in the packaging. But these three items, a knife, a flashlight, and a lighter, are absolute must-haves, something that you have access to all the time. Now, the other couple of things that are definitely a great idea is a pen. Now, you don't have to go to this extent, but a pen is, there's nothing that can replace a writing device. If you need to make a note, if you need to leave a note, write a message, anything like that, you cannot duplicate a pen or a marker of some sort. A writing object, there's no replacement for it. You can't just make ink out of leaves and a tree. You know, items that you can't just create from your environment are things that you should think about keeping with you. A pry bar, a handheld pry bar, yeah, might not have a ton of use for these on a daily basis, depending on what your work is. I'm a carpenter, so I could have a use for one of these every day. But something to keep in mind and think about maybe keeping in your vehicle. A solid piece of titanium or a solid piece of steel can go a long way, especially paired with a folding knife. You know, this, your knife isn't something you would want to pry with, but if you have a pry bar, it covers you and keeps your knife completely safe. You know, and if you're someone who is like, well, I like to match and color coordinate and this and that, well, it can easily be done in an EDC. I mean, you can go all black, you can go all green, you can go all raw tie. I mean, you can pick any color you want and you'll be able to find most items in that color. I mean, if you wanted to do all blue, you can get blue lighters, you can get blue pry bars, blue pens, blue knives. I mean, just right off the rip, I have one sitting here. I mean, you can color match, so there's no issue doing something like that where if you must have everything matchy matchy, you can easily do that. The idea behind this, though, is if you're someone who is new or on the fence, if you have, and you don't have to get the best of the best, you know, that's something that you work towards. You know, I didn't start off with the best knives, the best lighters, the best pry bars, the best pens. It's all things, even I have thousands of dollars of supplies and tools based solely on preparedness. I have $1,000 generator sitting right next to me that I bought specifically just in case the power goes out and, you know, whatever. I am covered with a nice big generator to protect my family and myself from outside elements. If the power goes down for an extended period or any period, I have, you know, a window of coverage. And I have taken things to the extreme at this point, but I feel a lot better and a lot more able to deal with things, even if it were to come to a very serious issue. You know, you can insert the issue, and I am covered to an extent for that. Now, do I have every single thing that I could ever need? No. But it's something that I am working towards every day, every week, every month, every year. I acquire more things to add to my surplus of preparedness items, and we keep some in each vehicle. We keep a lot of stuff in our home, and a lot of things are intertwined with all that. There are a ton of things to cover when it comes to EDC and when it comes to preparedness. If you are interested in diving into more individualized items when it comes to preparedness, when it comes to EDC, leave it down in the comments. Let me know if there's something specific that you are interested in talking about or seeing or learning about. And I'm here to learn as well. I don't know everything. Like I said, I don't have everything, but I've been doing this for quite a while. I have been neck deep in this EDC preparedness world for quite a long time, and I have taken it with the utmost seriousness that I could take, especially when you have little kids and a family that you are the protector of, the caregiver of. It's on you to protect yourself, your significant other, your kids. It's a big deal to have an EDC, to be prepared for certain life events. There's just no exception to that role. There are a lot of people every day who something happens. Maybe it's just to them. It could be to them, it could be to their block, their town. Who knows? Everyone has their own shit hitting the fan event at some point or another. And it's the things that you have around you and the things you have learned how to use that will get you through that disaster. But now that I have a better grasp on YouTube and making videos, doing videos, I would be willing to start throwing in some preparedness type videos that flow in and out of everyday carry things as well. I wasn't real interested in doing preparedness type content over the last couple months just because of how YouTube is set up and arranged, and the algorithm, it doesn't know where to place you, and it can be trouble for your channel if you're doing knife content and a bunch of different things all rolled into one. It can be hard for YouTube to place you where you need to be. But I am at a point now where I'm getting to a point where I want to talk about preparedness type things. And I know there are other guys who are very interested in preparedness. There are a lot of new people coming into EDC, and those people who are new to EDC are definitely going to be new to preparedness type things, and they might be just as interested in preparedness for other events as they are EDC. So leave it down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something that you want me to do a video on, or something you want to talk about, something you want to see. Whatever it might be, leave it down in the comments. Otherwise, guys, that'll do it for this one. I'll pop up 2 videos you might want to check out here and here. If you are new and not subscribed, click that GBALL Vision logo. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.